Honestly, when you see what they were able to pull with this week's Tomo-chan is a Girl episode, we should probably make it illegal to have both Carol and Tomo on one beach at one time, because June, my boy, he was literally a volcanic eruption. I mean, the ice cream set him completely off, but the entire time they got to that beach, ever since he unzipped Tomo's sweater and realized the mistake he made because he couldn't contain himself and he zipped it right back up, he was a walking time bomb. And seriously, this was one of the strongest episodes of Tomo-chan, hands down. Not only is like the first 11-12 minutes of this episode specifically dedicated to the childhood backstory side of things, really starting to get to understand where his mentality of trying to be stronger or how much he values Tomo as a person, and clearly how much he sees her above him and almost not worthy as he's not strong enough to really stand toe to toe with her right beside her. The fact that you get all that and then you get to see the flusterness on the beach. Usually these types of episodes, you just look at them as the fan service episode, and no one's gonna deny this wasn't the fan service episode. It absolutely was. How many times did we have seductive poses or literally his arm wedged between two giant melons? They knew what they were doing, but the fact that they made it relevant to the flusteredness and the will they won't they makes it a lot better than a lot of similar shows that try to use those beach episodes, and honestly, it was a banger of an episode. Now, I do have a full live reaction to today's episode available on my Patreon, so if you want to see my full uncut thoughts and what the hell am I seeing moments, head on over there and consider supporting. But this was a great episode. I like what they did with the flashback and how it ties into that beach content, but I like the fact that now that we're 7 episodes in, we really get to see where Jun as a character lies on his feelings towards Tomo. And I do think there is a bit of confusion on his part about maybe how much he really values her. I think without a doubt we can see that he looks at her as stronger than him and more or less like he just worships the ground she walks on in a lot of ways. But I definitely think he's a little oblivious in the ways that he's not really connecting the pain in his heart or some of the flufferness he sees into maybe he actually does feel romantic feelings. He's getting there, don't get me wrong, but there's a bit of obliviousness there. But what I like is how when you look at the difference between him thinking you wouldn't want me to be considered your boyfriend, Tomo, to how he immediately doesn't care if people see Carol and him as a boyfriend and girlfriend. It really says how much he truly, truly loves her. He's just so inferior. He feels inferior to her, right? So there's this like guy who at first it kind of felt like he was flirting with Tomo, but then is like, hey, let's go over by the rocks there. And she like goes from just being happy someone complimented her as a girl because it never happens to then just feeling very scared and awkward. And Jun just completely obliterates the guy without even laying a finger on him. And he says like, oh, you wouldn't want to be seen as my girlfriend. And he's like, we don't see his face, but we can tell he's blushing by the concept of it. But for Tomo, of course, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, I literally confessed to you, I want to be this. Like, are you an idiot? And I mean, they both kind of are. But I like the fact that you go from that moment of him standing up for her saying, of course you wouldn't want to be seen as my romantic partner, to then Carol being sworn by about a dozen different dudes, rips her away, and when asked, are you her boyfriend, think what you want. That's literally the difference, right? Both of them are physically showing just as much skin and very much are popping out of their tops just as much. Yet the one that he's embarrassed to say, I'm your boyfriend, is of course Tomo. It really hits the nail on the head saying that he has those feelings. He's confused about them, he feels like he's not worthy of her, but at the end of the day, we know, and anyone still denying the fact that he feels the same way is kidding themselves. And that's what I mean, right? They literally use the fan service, the provocative nature of what's usually an episode to sell the uncensored Blu-ray, and they say, hey, listen, we ain't giving you white bars, we're not trying to sugarcoat what's on this episode here, but we are going to use it for the flusterness of what's going on. It's funny, it's provocative, it's literally everything a scene like this should be. And the fact that when you tie it together with the backstory of how first they came to meet, and I mean, I didn't think they were going to commit to it, but when she was bending the DS or whatever his handhold system was, it was looking like it was rubber to then completely snap. Our boy was beating her since they were kids. But honestly, I mean, who the hell wouldn't freak out when literally your $100 piece of equipment that you're gaming on day in and day out gets snapped? It's not even just like she snapped the console, the game with it. So like he lost his save data. Like that was absolutely savage. But I like the fact that she went out of her way to not only apologize, but to also tell her parents. She didn't need to do that. And then to see the father just being like, we're so sorry. And then the mother comes in and he just sees the giant melons on her and he's like, all's forgiven, don't worry about it, let bygones be bygones. It was goofy, it was silly, but I really like it. And to see the three of them as children and how there is always that level of jealousy ever since they were, I don't know, 8, 10, whatever age they were at there. And if you look at, I think it was in last week's episode, Mizuzu was very much feeling like there was a little bit of a drama undertone, almost like she was getting worried that both of them were getting closer and closer to being in a relationship, meaning that she would have less time with Tomo. In this episode, during the flashback, I think it's like right after they were collecting the bugs, she pretty much, after Tomo's latching around June, she's like pulling on her shirt, basically indicating that she's a little jealous, like she wants that connection too. So very much, I think they're trying to say that there is the worry of what will happen to my friend if they are fully in a relationship, I'll get less time with them. Of course, she's happy that they're making progress, but at the end of the day, she is a person with her own feelings, and she's worried about how far Tomo will go from her reach once she's in that relationship. We also can tell that she is happy at the same time. So I like that little bit of drama that's not really there to break them apart, but more so show a believable feeling of two best friends who have always been with each other, and the fear of what happens when that person is in a committed relationship and how much time will I get with her. The backstory does work quite well of just showing them and just how much of a connection they had the whole time, while really beating it into our heads that the idea of him being stronger than her and giving her the DS and saying, I'll take it back when I'm stronger than you, flash forward to present day and she's like, you already are stronger than me, you idiot. But it really goes to show the complexity of the relationship. It's funny, it's heartwarming, it's saucy, but at the end of the day, Tomo-chan is a breath of fresh air in the rom-com genre. It is absolutely hilarious. I mean, the flat-chested jokes in terms of the two side characters and then Mizuzu being like, it's just not fair given what they're seeing on the beach. They can't even stand side by side, or even Mizuzu explaining to the innocent Carol of why he's not scared of boobs. It's the complete opposite, and just the fact that she just was so innocent and pure, she just didn't get it. It was a very, very good episode of Tomo-chan as a girl. I'm excited to see, though, where they take the remaining episodes. It does feel like we're slowly but surely building more and more into the committed relationship, but of course, we're learning things at a decent pace. For a while, it was basically focused like June didn't see her as a girl at all, and it was all on her. But over the past 3 episodes or so, it's really been painting like, no, he also has those feelings, but there's just that wedge that slowly but surely is cracking, and the deeper we get into the episode count, the more it's about to shatter, and once it does, I don't think you can keep these two violent lovebirds apart. But I'll pass the torch over to you. What did you think of Tomo-chan is a Girl episode 7? Favorite moment? Do let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. Be sure to ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload on the channel. I will be doing these videos starting on Wednesdays from now on, now that things are ending and being delayed, so you won't have to wait till Thursday. Just want to throw that out there. And of course, as I mentioned, we got that full live reaction available on my Patreon. And while you're there, you can also get yourself a video shoutout. So today, we got Andre, Aku Beta, and Admin. So I appreciate the support. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.